Hello, hello. Some of you may know me as Mike, some of you may know me as Mad Mike, but some also may know me as that dude that does motion capture animation, also known as the Black Dragon. Hello, I'm coming at you with a little bit of a tutorial for one of my recent tools that I've made for free, and this will include the most recent update that's going to be a part of it, and just show you a couple features and how to utilize this RLV tool. The whole purpose of it was to make things a bit easier for people in wrestling matches, and I commend all the tools that are out there, such as the Prime HUD. They have done a good job, but I have seen the sometimes the need of some people using other HUDs, such as G-force and needing the drag and pull, etc. The drag and follow feature. And sometimes people don't want to use macros. Sometimes they want to keep it within a gesture format. And macros seemed a bit finicky for them and a bit too much setup. And I understand that people do need to learn it themselves. However, I just wanted to make this a free alternative for people if they wish to use something more gesture based, and if they want the freedom of using other systems, as this is all just about making the wrestling easier. I'm not selling this for any profit or anything really. It's free on my vendors and it's transferable. The whole point of it is you transfer it to any wrestler you want, so that at least they have a copy, so then this tool can bounce off each other. With that being said, I believe you have to have RLVA enabled. Let me just find it. 1 second. I can't even find it. I'll put the thing up. I'll move it back down. And it's there. Firestorm. Yes. Make sure you've got RLVA enabled, and you might have to restart. Let's move this back down. Sorry for the change in camera perspectives. I'm making sure you don't see the top bar, can be annoying. Anyway, let's get on with the RLV tool. As I said, make sure you got RLV enabled, and then with my tool, make sure you've got it attached. This is the latest one, 1.7. The recent one in my chair hood is a 1.06. I believe that's also in the vendors at the moment. If not, it'll be 1.05. There's only a couple differences, and that's what we'll go into that. But still, when you get the RLV tool, you'll also have a note card, which would be RLV tool whatever version commands, and you'll get treated to this note card, and it'll give you the list of commands of what's available to you in this RLV tool. I've got a bunch of gestures lined up to demonstrate this, and I've also got my lovely assistant Chris Crossfade. He's too high and has his forehead on my chest, and he must be too zonked out to understand spatial awareness. Anyway, let's get on with it. First things first, this RLV tool can target someone with the same RLV tool. It actually works off that. So as long as you're in the same group, you'll be able to target one another and be able to utilize each other's RLV tool. It's the same target as most HUDs, which is 0.7 target. I've realized if people want to dart between targets on G3, it does cause an issue where you have to like accept my target and all that stuff. I am going to see if I can maybe fix this in the future and just have like its own target channel which won't affect any of the HUDs. That's a work in progress. That might be in the next update, because I can foresee that being a problem. But for now, it's 7 target avatar's legacy name or partial name. So for in this instance, 7 target Chris. I'll just make sure Chris accepts. You don't need to accept any permissions with the RLV tool, it's just for the animation and animation HUD. So there we go, he's targeted. You'll get a confirmation of it's been targeted, 0.7, tick, target set to Chris Crossfade. That's a confirmation that he's targeted, and I believe that means he's also got an RLV HUD on. Don't quote me on that, I haven't actually checked that one. But in all intents and purposes, Chris Crossfade also has the RLV tool on him. That is critical for some of the tools. You don't need it for all of them. You need it for some of them. But in all intents and purposes, he has RLV tool on. And if your opponent doesn't have it, you can transfer it to him. It's got trans rights. Anyway, let's go on with the first thing on this list of commands. 51 add brackets RLV folder name. What that means, in your inventory, some HUDs have utilized this RLV tool for things such as adding objects and removing objects. As you can see, I've got a lot of objects. I'm a hardcore dude. I love this stuff, and this is why I've done this, to make hardcore easier. But anyway, you make an RLV folder, which will be like making a new folder and then naming it #RLV. Make sure you've got RLV enabled. Maybe restart your viewer, but then once you've got this cog symbol on your HUD, you make a new folder and you name it whatever you want. And whatever in these folders, put in your object that you want. And what will happen when you use this command, 51 add, and then you name whatever of these folder names. For example, I've got one called chair, and it's got chair held object 51 test concave. It's like a new chair I've been doing. But what we'll do is we'll give an example. This gesture here is part of my chair pack, and it's got a command here, 51 add chair. This is directly for the RLV tool to then add this object into my hand. And as you see, it's done it, and as you can see here, it is attached. So let's have a look at this. This should work. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to add stuff onto your target. Chris Crossfade over here, I've given him, I'll change the screen so you'll be able to see. One moment. Chris Crossfade also has RLV folder and a chair. It's very important when you're trying to add objects onto your partner that they have the object in their RLV folders. It can't be from, it doesn't listen to your RLV folders when you're doing the tadd function. It's only listening to your RLV folders when you're adding objects onto yourself. When you're adding objects onto other people, it's their RLV folders. So if they haven't got that object, sorry, you can't transfer it to them. They have to go buy it. It's the limitations of SL. I wish I could change it. But just give an example that Chris Crossfade has that chair. I'll go back here. And what we're going to do is this gesture here, it's got a whole bunch of things. It's part of my chair pack, but it's got this thing here, tadd chair. I haven't tested this. Hopefully the gesture works like how it's supposed to, but the animation is not loaded, so it might be a bit slow. But it should add a chair onto Chris Crossfade's hand. It was just a visual example. There we go. Hey, chuck the chair, but that's like a whole other thing. But as you can see, my character dropped his chair. That was through a command from the chair. But you can also do a 5-1 remove, which will remove it from yourself, and we'll go into that in a second. But as you can see, he threw the chair up, crisscross fade, caught it in midair, and did and attached it to himself. The attaching part of it was this command right here, and that's because he's got a chair RLV folder with a chair in it. The rest of these commands are stuff like deleting the chair in midair and the throwing of the actual chair, but that's involved in my chair pack, and that's a whole other video. But it was just to demonstrate the add and the t-add function to give it more simpler terms. If I wanted to type it myself, and I don't recommend this, I recommend you put this into your own gestures. That's why I'm giving these examples of showing how much time you can save and how smooth things can get with objects now. But for example, if I wanted to add a chair onto myself, I've got an RLV folder named chair, 5-1 add chair, I add the chair. If I want to remove the chair, 5-1 remove chair. There you go. If I want to add a chair to crisscross fade, it's t add chair. And if I want to remove it, whoops, 5-1 t remove chair. Simple. That's like the typing version of it. And just to remind people, the T, like T add and T remove, any of these things have a T at the start of the command. They work on the person that you're targeting with the RLV tool. So if, for example, you're using G3 and you've got multiple targets, it'll only affect the person you did the /7 target name to. And if anyone's using the prime and uses the bump target, still remember to do the 7 target name, because the bump target obviously doesn't register with my RLV tool, it only registers with your wrestling HUD, with the prime HUD. So keep that in mind if you wanted to utilize these features that go onto your target. I will get rid of that, close that window, just because of Discord. Apologies, I don't want to dox it, what anyone's saying. But no, as long as you've got a T, as long as they've got a the RLV tool on, and they've got the RLV, like they've actually got the RLV folders and stuff like that, and you're targeting them, then these T commands will work on them. It'll be anything. It can be the T add, T remove, the T align, T height, T push, etc. And we're going to go into those in a second. I just wanted to show another example of the T remove. So for example, here's an example of the T add. I've made another gesture, which is to get a baseball bat. You can see the 5-1 add barbed wire baseball bat. I've got an RLV folder called that, and what that will have, if it will load, and that's one thing. Yeah, one thing you guys will have to understand with these tools, you're gonna have to let it load. It's still SL. It's still SL, people. And then we've got this animation. It's supposed to be on the ropes, but just because I don't, fuck it, I'll move him. I'll move him. There you go, moved him. There we go. But this gesture here, what this will do is he will detach this baseball bat and attach another one, which is lower down the hand. The reason for that is because this animation is going to wrap this barbed wire around his face, and it couldn't do it when he's holding the handle. So instead, he's going to grab this part of the bat. And obviously in SL, you know, you can't adjust the like position on the fly. Well, this is what this comes in. Because what happens is I go 5-1 remove barbed wire bat, that will remove that. I usually add a good second, or you can add about 0.5, 0.6, 0.7. Don't try and go below 0.5 seconds or it will glitch out. There are moments where SL lags and like it just detaches nothing or attaches all of them, kind of thing. So give the scripts a little bit of time to breathe. if you can help it. Try and be quick as you can, but just don't go from one script heavy move to another script heavy move to another script heavy move really quickly. You'll just make it freak out. Hopefully this don't freak out, but I think I've given it enough time with that 1 second. But what's it going to do is it's going to remove that baseball bat, then add another one that's on the hand, start to scrape them about a little bit, and then at the end it's going to remove the baseball bat, barbed wire, bat, hand, which is the one that's on the hand, and then give about 0.8 seconds and you add the normal baseball bat, the one that's in his hand. So I'm going to show you now. You can see there it's just changed. Obviously the animation, that should have got closer, but you can see there that it's changed. And there you go, it's changed again. That's made some of these moves so much more simple. And I can give another example. Cactus, barbed wire, elbow. This can be an example of what you can also do and why you need to give a couple seconds for them to reason I give it 2 seconds is because there's a script in this that would drop it, and it kind of messed up a little bit, so that's why I give it enough room to breathe. But this here removes it from my hand and puts it to my elbow, making an elbow drop available. You see it's attached to the elbow, boom, elbow drop. And then I've attached it back to my hand because 5-1 remove baseball bat turns into 5-1 add baseball bat, bat elbow. I'll do the elbow drop and then remove the barbed wire elbow, and it goes into the add baseball barbed wire bat and well, the normal one. I actually didn't put any weight on this, and funny enough, that worked all right. Problem is, sometimes it don't. Just be careful. I've had it glitch on me before, but that actually worked all right. So experiment with your objects, because sometimes some objects are like really heavy, so it don't work too good. But that's one example. That's like another example of the remove, add, and as I said, I already showed you some of the T-add functions. The T-add remove, same concept. Now let's get on to some other funky things, because this is obviously things you've probably seen before, just in a more easier way to do, in a way that people are more used to with gesture based. And you're thinking, what can be added to the general SL wrestling scope with this? Well, I've recently come across, I've made like a new feature, which is a feature you've all seen before, which is a push and pull, and obviously the pull only pulls towards you then stops this time. But obviously you've all seen that, and you're going to think to yourself, well, Michael, that's not any different. It's just in gesture form. The difference is I've made it so you can precisely figure out the distance and the speed of where you want it. So for example, these functions here, this is called push, T-push and yank, and you can see in here I've got some numeral values. What that is would be for the push functions, it would be the first set of numbers is the distance you're going. This would be in meters, and the second set will be the speed. I think it's meters per second, etc. Basically how fast you go. It's very much on the push functions. Very much, it's good to like set out how far you're gonna go, because if you go way too far, if you put like a 6, because this is one thing you've got to notice with the push, it doesn't stop until you've got the distance away. So with the push, you might find yourself you've like done 10 and you've realized it's pushing you beyond the ropes, and you'll find if you haven't done the ropes, you'll be like going and you're doing that for an eternity because you can't go over the ropes. Because what it will do is it won't stop until you've gone 10 meters away, which will be like here or something. So be mindful of that. Be mindful of that. But yeah, that could be a headache for some people, but for other people this can be a saving grace. Now, understand rope shoots are hard for people. Not for everyone, but hard for some people. It is best practice to learn your rope shoots and learn it correctly and with control. But sometimes there are physical limitations. Sometimes there are people that are physically can't use the keyboard as well. There's no way around it. And there's just some people where it's really hard to adapt to this thing. They haven't got the computer for it. So here is a way to rope shoot yourself or rope shoot your opponent for them if you know you're going to go against someone who struggles with rope shooting and you really want a rope shoot spot. So with this, I've made a little Irish whip. With this, I've done the T-push, 3 meters, 5 meters per second. The T-push pushes them backwards. So anything that like with a T at the start affects the person you're targeting. So T yank will yank them towards you. A T push will push them away from you. T align will align your opponent towards you. If they don't have a T, it affects you. So an align will align you towards your opponent. Push will push you away from your opponent, and yank will yank yourself towards your opponent. That makes sense. So what will happen is T push will push them away. Then I've got timing, which is like a second or so. Rope shoot, done the sounds like that. Then I've given them time to do the T yank them back towards me at about 6 meters per second. That will make them really speedily come towards me, and I can add a move at the end of it, but this should work fine just as an example. And one thing to note, make sure you've got a good amount of correct amount of distance. I've configured this to be in the middle of the ring. If I kind of was too close to the ropes, as I said, would have the same problem of like he would just keep going to the ropes because he hasn't got the maximum amount of distance away. So just bear that in mind. Make sure if you're going to use this push and pull function, make sure it's because you want precise movement. Don't just do it haphazardly because you're gonna fuck up. But let's show this. As you can see, automated Irish whips. Very good. Whoops, wrong gesture. I'm trying to knock them down. Where's I'm just knocking down pile driver. Knock them down because I'm going to show another thing. This one's a bit more finicky, but it should work. This is where you can rope shoot yourself to if you wanted to rope shoot off the ropes and do a move. For example, I've done one for a knee drop. This will be a push, which will be a 5-1 push 4-5, which will be 4 meters away at 5 meters per second. It pushes you away, does a rope shoot, then yanks you towards your opponent. I honestly really recommend you learn your rope shoots yourself. Don't use this to get lazy, please don't, because you're going to get into a lot of catastrophes. Because this particular bit, when it's pushing yourself, it can get a bit janky. So these are for people who really physically can't do this rope shooting stuff. Like, think of it as an aid, but you gotta try it yourself if you're capable. But anyway, this should work. This can be janky. Exactly. There you go. That's what the jank is. So this is why it still did the right amount of distance, funny enough, but what it is because I wasn't on the correct angle. You've got to make sure, because with this, if you're too much like on his diagonal side, it will move you diagonal. If you're too much diagonally on him, move that way, because you got to imagine he's standing up and you're going it from like 8 axes, so you've got to be almost dead on the side of him. And let's see if this works. That works better. That works better. As I said, you need to be dead on the side of him, like dead on the front of him. So you've got to be precise with these a little bit. If you get on the diagonals, it's going to get weird, especially for wrestling. But this is an option for people. And obviously, I did that through push function, added the numerical values, and it usually works. Just so you know, a yank will stop a push. So if you find yourself into a loop, like, oh, I believe a yank will stop it, and I think push off. I think 5-1 push off. So let's see if I could save myself. If not, then just use a yank. So you see what's happening here? Oh no! Oh no! Yeah. So the way to stop it is 5-1 push off. To stop it. So make sure if you're in a loop, 5-1 push off. Anyway, I think this shows you possible utilization and drawbacks, but I bet quite a lot of you creative wrestlers will find good uses of this tool and hopefully not get hampered by it. Last thing I wanted to show you guys that I think is cool. There's another thing called height. It's a little experimental. I don't know if it's working 100% how it is with the reset, but it is useful for certain people. Like for example, if you're going to do a power bomb and they're too small. But I'll get into that for a second. I'm going to get into the align features. So as I said before, anything with a T in front will affect your target. Anything without a T in front will affect you. What this does, it rotates you in relation to your partner. I'm going to try and add a feature that rotates you 180 degrees regardless of who you're targeting in relation to you. But this is aligning you in relation to them. So what this would do, like 5-1 align would align you to be facing your opponent, and T align will make them face you. However, I've got something such as align behind. This can be if you wanted to turn your opponent around and then do a move from behind really quickly. And I've used this as an example. This goes into some animations which are from behind only. My cover random and suplex is only from behind, and sometimes I find it hard to like get into position. So especially if you're like picking them up and you wanted to do it, so this way I've got something called a turnaround triple German. This is where they flip them around to their back and capture them for a German suplex. It goes into a German suplex, but I've interrupted the animation to do my Kevel random and suplex. And what you'll come to find is this will rotate them around and then like do the German suplex. I'm going to show it from both angles, from Mike's angle and from Chris Crossfade's angle, so you see what's happening. German suplex. As you can see, it's from behind. I'm going to just snap him back towards me. 5-1 align. Yeah, there you go. He's flipped towards me. I am now going to switch the camera to Chris's perspective, so you can see what this animation, well, this gesture and tool does. 3, 2, 1. You see it's flipped him over. You might have to do some manual or turning, but you can still see it flipped him over. You can do several alignment changes. I'm going to move back to Mike. Move this back down. Yep. 5-1 T align. There you go. And what we're going to do, for example, it's not just T line behind. You can do T line left. Oh, is this one not working? Aha, we found a problem. Okay, I might have. Ooh, I will find what was the problem with that. TLI. Yeah, it's just this problem with the line. That's my bad. That's my bad. That's in the note card. Sorry about that. I'll update that in the note card. I led people astray. Yeah. So yeah, you can align them to the left side of it, so their right shoulder is pointing towards you, or your left shoulder. So for example, here I think the align left will have their right shoulder facing you. Sometimes there's some animations outside of SL Wrestling that needs this, and sometimes you just need them to turn them around so you can help them run. That can also be the case. You can do the same thing for you. Let me just get this 5 on T line. Get them back towards me. You can do this for yourself. Align left, 5-1, align left. So you can turn and go 5-1 T line right. There you go. Turn that way. T align, or 5-1 align behind, etc. etc. 5-1. I've also seen one cool thing to do. Let me just 5-1, 6-7, okie dokie. Oops. 6-7, stay down. One thing. Oh, 6-7, stay down. There you go. One thing you can do that someone's brought to my attention. You can use this for high flying moves. Flying elbow. That's not right. Elbow drop. Turnbuckle. So what I can do here, 5-1 yank 7. I can make myself fly off into him, and essentially not do a thing, not need to do a thing. Obviously I haven't timed this correctly, but hopefully this gives you the gist. There you go. Like a glove. It yanked you already towards them. You didn't need to move a thing. It's all in the gesture. And guess what? Because it's not a pull, you don't need to click anything. So you're still free to move around. You could do like a flying move. You could probably do something like flying move, bang, get up, and keep moving. Like do a roll or something. You could do something like that. There's possibilities. This makes things easier. That's all I want, is make things easier. This like the stuff here, I might get rid of this. It was mainly for the debugging stage of it, because I wanted to know how this thing was reacting, but I might get rid of it for the final release. If it's there, it's there. Sorry. Last thing I will go into is height functions. This is experimental. I think it's working correctly. If it's not, let me know. I need to. That's the one thing I can fix, because I've the main things I was worried about are done. So, for example, if I wanted to change my height, let's say 5'1" height. I forgot how extreme the heights are, but let's say go up by 2. Yeah, so it's not that extreme. It goes up by increments. And then you go 5'1" height. Reset. And it'll put you back down to your original hover height. And you can also bring yourself down if you really want to. 5'1" height -2, and you'll drop back down. 5'1" height. Reset. There you go. You can also do this for your opponent. So, for example, if you've got like a power bomb, and I haven't got an example for you right now, but if you've got like a power bomb where they lift up and essentially they're too small and they're like sinking into you, you could possibly put like something like this into the gesture. You could put like 5'1" T height, put like 5'1" T height 5, and then have a 5'1" T height reset on impact. So you can have it be like they lift up, and you go 5'1" T. Oh, is this the problem? 5'1" T height 7. Oh, wait 1 second. Let me just check. I think it's because he's got the wrong RLV tool on. It might be because he's got the wrong hood on. 5'1" height. 5'1". Okay, I'll have to experiment on that one. That one's experimental. I've told you guys that's experimental. But essentially what the plan is, you can then lift them up to a certain height, then crash them back down. I will have a look at that one tool. The rest are working. That's good for me to know. It's only the T height. I'll fix that. That won't take too long. But regardless, there's quite a few tools here that you can use that I think will be beneficial for people within SL Wrestling. Don't need to click a button, don't need to click a macro, don't need to set shit up. You can just slide this into your pre-existing gestures and you're done. So hopefully this is all useful to you. I'm going to continue to update this as I go along. It's a labour of love. It's a free thing just to make things easier for people. Spread it around if you want, and if you're already using stuff that's does the same stuff, go for it. No skin off my back, as long as it's making your wrestling journey easier. But yeah, other than that, guys, enjoy and have fun. Have fun with this amazing little hobby that's been created. That's gone on for years. But yeah, catch you later, guys.